Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and welcome to Simulated Reality with SOLRETA. This is part 20. Can you imagine? You can find her work at SOLRETA here on YouTube and also at solreta.com on her website. SOLRETA, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I can't believe it's part 20 and third channel.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's part 20 of Simulated Reality, but we did quite a few of the previous ones of what would they call psychic readings with SOLRETA on the first channel, and I believe also maybe on the second channel. So folks, thank you for joining us live. And SOLRETA and I were just saying before the show, man, SOLRETA's been here since almost day one on my show, and I just love having her on. It's always cool. We always have fun. We're always excited to have these conversations together, and I'm just very grateful that SOLRETA is here with us. So thank you, SOLRETA, for being who you are.
I'm so grateful for being on your show and the beautiful audience. And I love it because I think you and I have such good freestyle together. It's almost like if we were rappers and we were like spitting beats and tunes and things, we would just go with the flow. It's the same for our shows. 2 seconds before we sit down, hey, you're like, what are we talking about today? I'm like, well, Spirit just told me archetypes like 2 seconds ago. And I love that with you, that we just kind of like roll with the punches, roll with the flow. It's exciting. Right. It keeps me on my toes.
Well, what's funny with you and I too, like we finish each other's sentences often when we're talking off air, even on air, like we're thinking the exact same thing. So it makes a lot of sense when we're together providing this cool simulated reality psychic experiment show with you guys. But first I have to ask SOLRETA, what the hell's going on with your background? It's not the typical color scheme. What's going on?
Yeah. So I'm actually at my parents' house. This is my grandmother's wall hanging. So she would have been over 100 if she was still around now. But yeah, it's like a Middle Eastern scene, wall hanging. And yeah, a bit of Aboriginal artwork from my parents' adventures in the outback. They travel 3 to 4 months of the year in the desert. And yeah, go to amazing, interesting places. Part of what inspired me to connect so strongly with the Aboriginal people and the culture here in our beautiful country.
Wow, that's amazing. Are those like wooden planks on the ceiling? What's the ceiling?
Yeah, have a look, check it out. It almost looks like I'm in a boat cabin.
Yeah,
so
I was gonna say.
Part of the house is like Swiss chalet style. Yeah.
It looks very cozy and warm. Like the tapestry makes it all tie in together. I love it.
It's toasty, and it's total opposite to my rainbow bookshelf that you guys used to see in my background at my place. So yeah, looking to settle. Hopefully a couple of weeks. I have found a place. So
you have
like finishing. So it is, but then there's other stuff thrown into the mix with new rules and things in Melbourne. So there is possibly an escape plan still.
Okay, I gotta ask. We typically don't get too much into the details, but seeing as you're kind of from that neck of the woods, what's going on? Like I'm hearing on one hand, oh, there's a big surprise. We don't need this stuff anymore. I'll watch my words here. People can go shopping, blah, blah, blah. No proof of whatever. And then in some other places in Australia, it's like, no. They're actually going full force in the opposite direction. And shop owners are like, okay, so what's going on? What's going on?
So I think let's call them the G, the original G.
Yeah.
The OG. Yeah, what they're saying might be slightly different to MSM. I don't watch MSM, so I only hear from it through friends and through family. So I know that my old salon that I used to work at is enforcing the V. And to work there, you also have to have the V. So quite lucky that I got out. And yeah, one of my friends that I guess working in different industries, there's some bosses that are standing up, and then there's others that are like Whole Foods that I go to just lost 25, 30 employees, which are beautiful, beautiful souls that work there, amazing people that are not going to, to fall to this tyranny that's happening. So
that's incredible.
I mean, we're getting told, I know in New South Wales, you have to have things to shop in it. Kmart, I don't know if you guys have Kmart, which is kind of like Target. You're supposed to have things. Then at the same time,
Kmart? Kmart? Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We used to have those as a kid here in Canada. It's weird. We don't see them anymore. So I don't know if they still exist, but yeah.
They've moved down under to Australia. We've had them since I was a baby. But yeah, so one of my friends, he's like, it was like a apocalyptic scene. There was t-shirts and things everywhere on the floor in Kmart because it was the last day shopping for a lot of the alternative people up there, or a lot of the people that, value body autonomy. So yeah, it's quite crazy. There's conflicting stuff. There was new rules that just got passed here in our state in Victoria yesterday, which is really not good because it means that one person controls. So pretty much I don't know how to say it without saying it, or without, so a dick, we'll just call them a dick. We can assume the rest of the word rhymes, or it sounds like potato. God, it's so weird talking code, isn't it? So yeah, they now have control to be able to bring on lockdown for 3 months at a time without even a need or a reason for it. So if they feel that they need to lock us down, then they can do so if they wish.
Wow.
So you can
It's weird because it's direct opposition to that newscast. I'm like, wait, did the newscast not get the memo? What's going on? It's so weird.
No, I'm going to have to watch this. So I'm going off things that I've heard from small business and larger size business. Which I trust more than the news. So it's just really, it feels like go time, but then at the same time, we've got that juxtaposition, or that flip opposite of the earth is actually doing what she's supposed to do. And as we've talked about on the last show that we did, animals are coming up to people. We're seeing so much shift and change and amazing different things. I went camping on the weekend and saw 3 UFOs, which was lovely.
Okay, hold on. I want the details on those. Don't go too fast. But hold on. There's somebody in the chat was saying, Kmart was bought by Sears. But
really?
Here in Canada, it says that in 1998, Hudson Bay Company bought Kmart Canada. So we haven't seen Kmart's for a while. I remember going there as a kid, like you said, it was like a Target store, I guess. That's fascinating.
And I just saw Laurel's comment. Thank you.
Which one? Laurel.
Welcome to the vegan family.
This one here,
the one you just had up. She just said that she has gone vegan as well.
Oh, that one for the previous one.
Sending you big hugs. But it is a little bit like, do we go for a little bit? I mean, I'm lucky with work that I can, Anyway, getting off topic, back to the UFO.
Going back to UFOs. So hold on a second here. I want to ask the audience too. SOLRETA keeps freezing on my end. I can hear her fine, but her video just
Let me switch my internet just in case.
Can you guys see SOLRETA okay? She moved, or she's freezing on your screen? I'm just curious what the audience sees right now. Let me see. I'm just waiting for the scroll to come up. It seems lagged, although my connection is like perfect. Well, because it can be here for now. Freezing here and there. Okay, yeah. So we're getting you're freezing a little bit. It could be just the location or the connection you have. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm on plugin, so it should be okay. But it could be a couple of words that I'm not saying or saying.
Okay. Set this up. Where did you go, first of all? And are they daytime or nighttime visions? Is it multiple days?
So I went out camping with my partner and kids, and it was amazing. We just were out in the country, rolling hillsides, a bit of bush scrublands, had a fire. The kids had gone off to bed, and just standing there as you do around the fire, and I look up. It's that feeling. So much of the time when you see a UFO, it's not that you have to be, putting your energy out there going, I really want to see one, really want to see one. Sometimes it's when you're in that calm heart space and you're almost like in a meditative, reflective mindset. So I just put into my heart, oh, gee, I'd really, it'd be lovely to connect with ETs, star family, see a UFO. And as soon as I look up, I'm like, there's one. So a lot of the time you'll just get told when to look up. So it works on kind of like almost like a mind-to-mind communication, but you feel it on an empathic level. So watching them go over, we had one, and it was great because my partner got to see them too. So there was one that was sort of just really light fading in, then it would get bigger and grow and then fade back out. And it eventually faded out into nothing. It was just seeing a couple of little ones like that, just kind of giving him like a little introduction and a bit of a warm up to
I
the
I
topic.
was gonna say you're used to this. You were running ECity Australia for a while there. So,
Mhm.
but what was your partner's reaction? Was this his first time, at least knowingly or consciously, seeing UFO?
Yeah. So he's like, no, that's a plane. And I'm like, really? Does a plane go that high? Where's the guiding lights, like the wing lights?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it doesn't fade out. Planes don't fade out where you can nearly not see them and then come back in bigger and brighter.
Mhm.
And so he's like, oh, there it is. It's still like, it's over there. It's still going. So it was quite exciting, but, you can just see and feel that because there is that conscious interaction between them, especially when you are quite good at receiving messages on a telepathic or empathic level, there is that bond. So I could feel this kind of cheekiness coming from them, that it's like a nice, gentle introduction. So yeah, they're just getting warmed up, just getting started. So looking forward to a good summer sky watching.
Wow, that's cool. And how about the kids? How did they react?
No, they were in bed.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, I did get up. When you're camping and you're just thinking, oh, I really don't want to get up and go to the bathroom because it's cold. So I've come up with a new thing. So if you have to get up in the middle of the night, at least you're getting up with the possible potential chance of seeing UFOs. And the moon and the stars were beautiful. It was just, so grateful for actually being able to get out and to do things like that. And
Were,
it's a reminder of what's important.
yeah. Were you ever at ECity Ranch in the States? Did you ever go to that place or no?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Sarah and I, when we went too, of course, we had those little how do they call them? Meditation rooms, like right next to the. So we had like
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
so but there's no washroom, so we'd have to walk all the way outside past the main
Oh,
hall
yeah.
to
To
get
the
to the washroom.
showers.
Right. And I'm not used to going outside to the washroom in the middle of the night. But like you say, it's an opportunity to kind of like, what the hell's going on here? It's a weird place. Anyways,
Yeah.
okay, let's get to our topic at hand tonight. I thank you guys for indulging us. We're just kind of shooting the
Yeah.
shit here, but okay, archetypes. Where do you want to start with that one?
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to have a sky watch with all of us here, like with the audience. And
Oh, that would be
um,
amazing. Yeah.
so I did pick a card just before we started to do with archetypes, and there is my archetype deck, the Carolyn Mice archetype cards, who is an amazing teacher. She has meditations and all sorts of things. I first learned about her back when I was maybe about 18 in college. So she's been around for a really long time. She specializes and talks about archetypes. So this is a great deck if you are interested in archetypes. So the one that I pulled, and this was for the audience, so this is definitely like for your group, what Spirit was downloading to me was talking about in terms of like this simulated reality. We all have a chance or a potential to pick an archetype. So there's different times where we will need to kind of like step into different archetypal energies. So 1 minute you might need to step into, a galactic warrior archetype, or you might need to step into like a Viking warrior archetype, or other times you might need to be in that soft flow state, or you might need to step into like a sense of wonderment and gratitude and appreciation, which would be more kind of like Alice in Wonderland or Peter Pan, this kind of archetype. So each of the tarot cards also represents different archetypes. So Peter Pan, Alice in Wonderland for me represent the Fool, which is about a journey, but it's about being on a journey and letting things kind of come to you and being immersed in the present moment, not too focused on the future. So the card that we got is the card of the Alchemist. So I'll read to you the light attribute and the shadow attribute, but just want to talk a little bit about the Alchemist, which is kind of in my favorite deck is called the card of art, or it's that person that's, mixing the two worlds together, mixing the potions. They're not just on the left or just on the right. They're really sort of like living life through themselves or choosing that middle path. A little bit of essence of the magician in there, having all of the tools. But when we sort of come to the embodiment of having learned everything that we've learned so far, so I feel this is also for your audience. We've all been looking and diving into this for many years, a big number of your audience anyway. Like, we're not sort of just newbies to these kind of topics or to these kind of discussions, or, we say the word aliens and, your audience doesn't freak out. So what this is about now is tapping into this essential inner alchemy. So what takes something from lead into gold is actually bringing the heart into it. So not only do we need to now action what it is that we've learned and been learning all of these years, we need to bring this warrior, fierce heart energy to it, and really let the magic unfold. So for example, if we talk about, with the magician, or kind of like with an alchemist, we have like a concentrated focus that comes out of a wand. So if we're talking about, Harry Potter and about magic and about, focusing our attention and things, we're at that stage now where we can put down the wand. We can put down that, all right, I'm willing to manifest this. And we actually need to come inside ourselves to actually start to step into being more of a creator in simulated reality. So where spirit is guiding me on talking about this is, no longer are we characters that are non-conscious. We're now starting to actually have, if we can think of like AI becoming conscious, or if we can think about humanity becoming conscious within this AI simulated reality. So we're now able to affect outcome, and affect the world around us a lot more. Now, I know one of my clients, I remember she was getting a bit frustrated one time because she's like, I understand that, that I'm the creator of my reality and that. And she's like, I'm ready for this to all end. I'm ready for everything to just finish and everyone to wake up. But unfortunately, we're not at that exact stage where it's just one person making the difference. Even though one person can make a difference in some situations, we actually need to come together collectively to hold this space within us. So I'll read to you. On a light attribute level, transformation of base motives and goals into golden wisdom. So it's that alchemical transformation of the base motives and goals into golden wisdom. So it's also assessing and looking at like what our motives are, what we've learned so far, and how can we step up and grow from there. So it's talking essentially about a quantum jump on a shadow attribute. It's misuse of power and knowledge that comes through spiritual practice. So this would be someone that is perhaps like inverting that spiritual power or wisdom, which we quite often see with gurus, or people in places of power, especially in those that have a bit of a spiritual sway. So whether it's operating, ashrams, ranches, spiritual type places like this, we need to make sure that that spiritual energy isn't inverted and running through a base root chakra sexual level, where they're actually using that pool to harvest or to bring people to them in that way. So we want to make sure that whatever it is that we're calling or manifesting or interlinking with has good intentions. It has that potential for heart to come in and to transform into gold. So we'll just pick, there's another deck of cards that Spirit wanted me to work with today. Actually, I should say I'm working with a lot of different cards at the moment. This is another deck, is the Mystic Shaman Oracle.
Nice.
So we've got this one, and that is by Philando Baron Reed Lobos. So we'll just pick out of this deck. We've got a couple of cards. So we've got the Andean Cross. We've got the Curse. So this is interesting. This is leaning towards and we've got Soul Retrieval. So this is leaning towards the shadow aspect. So for a few people out there, it's really looking at coming back to that place of power. So we can see here that cross, that beautiful balance, all of the elements represented. We see that beautiful gateway in the center too. We then also see the curse, and we also see, where am I at? Soul retrieval too. So this is about not letting anyone else harvest your energy. It's actually about bringing it back. So thinking about that archetype of the alchemist, and how can we energetically pull our energy back into the here and now? How can we purify it? How can we cleanse it so that we can then focus and have that full potential? The image Spirit keeps giving me is Sims characters. So if we're looking at that, we've given the control of the Sims character away to the puppet master or the the person behind the keyboard. How can we essentially rewrite the code? How can we look at bringing that back? So there's another deck that I've just got called Oracle of the Hidden Worlds by Lucy Cavendish. So let's ask them for some information after we rebalance or after we bring back that soul energy. This is perfect. We've got the card of insight. And as we see, going from the alchemist, we're staying in tune or in theme. So Spirit is really talking about this inner magic that we have. So magical tools, writing, and star crafting. So I'll actually read this one. They're guiding me to actually read it. So it's number 22. And we can see this is that Merlin alchemist character. So between the three decks, we've got a continuity of a story forming. Okay, so when we really do that soul retrieval work and we start to actually become conscious creators. So sometimes this is also about saying no, which is quite hard for those that are empathic or sensitive. It can be about boundary setting. I was just talking to you just before we logged on to the show too about boundary setting.
Actually, I'll take a note of that and I'll come back to that. I want to share that with the audience too, because anyway, I'll keep going. I'll come back.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So magical tools, writing, and star crafting. So this is the card of insight, number 22. From which magic does insight arise? From what place do words flow? How can we connect so deeply that we write of the stars and their secrets? Perhaps we would do well to be like the wizards between worlds, who draw down the energies of all that is above and somehow weaves into this world below, combining all of the celestial with all of that is terrestrial. So I'm just going to read that little bit again. Spirit's prompting me. So perhaps we do well to be like the wizards between worlds, who draw down the energies of all that is above and somehow weaves it into the world below, combining all that is celestial with all that is terrestrial. So in those moments that we can connect truly, deeply, we can literally become the link between the worlds. Through us can flow a pure and clear energy, a wise energy, which can guide and comfort and enlighten, a compassion energy that can see beyond the difference and find communion with those of whom we share with this remarkable world. It is the time to connect deeply, find the quiet in between times so that you too can take the pen and write, sit quietly, connect and feel the flow of energy that is the proof of your belonging, not only in this world, but to the worlds that lie beyond the sight of your eyes. You are one who can share the knowledge. You can write the stars. You can understand the power to the pen of the words that flow and the magical tools that you gather about you. This is the time to grow strong in your magical work, to learn how to use the scrying ball, which is the crystal ball, to work with the soft enhancement enchantment that is the candlelight, to turn your gaze towards the stars, to draw the wonder, to reveal what others cannot see in your words or works. Be the wizard who creates the bridges between the worlds. Alchemize the seen and the unseen. Let the wisdom pour through the pen into the words that will flow out of you. So it says illumination. I am the instrument of the divine, which pours through me into the world. So that pretty much sums up exactly how we're talking about, taking your energy, taking your words back, because as we have in, I'm trying to think if it's the Tower card or if it is the Devil, it's talking about like your words too precious to be spilled as gold. That's just my little nephew who's got his Harry Potter glasses on, another wizard just showing up at the door waving to me. He's gorgeous.
I saw a couple of wizards this last weekend. We were at a Halloween party. It was all family with kids and stuff. And there's a couple of kids dressed as wizard. And there's this one girl. I'm like, oh my God, she's an actual wizard. But Sarah and I were looking at her. It's like, look at that girl. Like, she's glowing. Wow. Some other parents noticed too. I was like, wow, I wonder where that person is going to go in their future. But definitely.
That is so cute.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, look at the synchronicity of the difference between the cards, we've got the Alchemist, we've got the Magician. But what I'm saying with the Tower card, I'm pretty sure it is we need to look at our words, and we need to look at them being as precious as gold, and what we're speaking, what we're creating into this world. So if we're feeling unsafe, or we're feeling that, things are perhaps unstable, this is the reality that we're creating. So we need to look at the cards that are being dealt. How can we empower ourselves to make smart, grounded, wise decisions without freaking out, but also still talking in the positive, also still, holding hope. I just think that's beautiful that my gorgeous nephew came in at that particular time, and his favorite's Harry Potter. So
perfect. That's awesome. And my dog is making a grounding noise as she said that. My dog's so funny. He said, "Can you hear that in the microphone when she goes like?"
Not really,
No?
not really.
Okay.
It
The
must be
microphone
very
only
low.
picks this side up, but anyway, she's so loud.
I've actually got something cute to share with you too about so my little nephew got in trouble for talking about UFOs at school.
Uh-oh.
So he knows that Arnie Soul sees UFOs and sometimes films them. And so he's just obsessed. He loves to hear all about it. And he's like, my sister, his aunt, his mum, she'll be like, well, ask Arnie Soul about it. But at the moment, we're having to keep it on the down low, because with online learning, he may have posted a couple of UFO videos into the online classroom chat, and he's only 7, and it freaked a couple of the kids out.
I love it. Oh my
Oh,
God.
I'm so proud. But we're like, buddy, you can't talk about that at school sometimes. But,
The
we don't
woo is
take that
leaking
down.
into normie land. I love it.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, you don't want to shut it down. Like, this is the magic of the
Yeah.
world that we live in.
Yeah.
And how many of us was that told to as kids? Yet we have proof of this now. So it's kind of sad, but I
Yeah.
understand. He's freaking kids out.
Yeah. Hey, hold on. There's a bunch of people asking about your cards. So I brought them up. So this was the first
Thank
one,
you.
the archetype cards. Let me bring the links down here in the live chat.
Oh, great.
for you
Thank you,
guys.
JC.
The first one. The second one, mystical shaman oracle cards.
Yes,
Oh,
and I know a few people that have bought that already. So
Oh, yeah?
it's a good check.
And then the third one, the oracle of the hidden worlds. This one is
yes,
that
and look at the beautiful pictures in the background.
Okay, hold
So
on a second. I'll bring you up. Hold on. Let me just bring that link down. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I bought these yesterday because they remind me so much of some of the worlds that I see and the visions that I get from spirit. So we can see there's almost like, what finger am I on? This one. So I see things like this, which are like floating disc cities. So sometimes, like after double rainbows, portals will open and you'll see Pleiadian disc ships that are almost like cathedrals of light that are just floating. So sometimes you'll see things like this when we have rainbows, or when you get a certain feeling, or you come across, sacred places, you'll see some of these veils between worlds. So if we keep that in mind and keep working as was. Actually, Spirit's asking, is there anything that you want to ask about, like this alchemist side of things, JC?
I do. Funny you should ask. Well, first, I cleared this up because as you were talking earlier today, I just realized Spirit was talking to you about alchemy, transformation, and archetypes. And Cliff Hyde just posted this video, X form woo, so transforming woo. So he's also talking about this alchemy.
I love how we all just kind of synchronize. It's just
and it's funny because here he's saying how some of the elements on the planet are trying to transform us into something further away than what our natural state is. And that's, I guess, all I can state here. And of course, what we're getting the message is, not just, no, don't go for that, but actually go deeper, transform, and also take that wheel for yourself. That was a big theme. And I think in your reading there, to take that wheel or that control back of where your transformation is going. Now, in terms of archetypes, like I'm meeting more and more people now, which is kind of funny. And I want to have your thoughts on this, especially in the divine feminine. I'm meeting a lot of women who are holding 5, 6, 7 different archetypes in this lifetime. Whereas when I was younger, I would see people, but they were like, okay, this one is clearly this archetype. Okay, she's the priestess, or she's definitely the warrior, or she's definitely this or this or that. Now what we're seeing is a lot of these archetypes all coming in, merging into that one bigger triune human, if you want to call it that. What are your thoughts on that? Are you seeing that also in the work you're doing? And we'll get into some of the boundary sharing a little bit later. I don't want to forget that. But are you seeing that with your clients as well, where people are getting into mastery, basically being able to hold all of these different archetypes of all their past incarnations into this one? Because again, it's all hands on deck. We're about to transform into something, and that means necessarily that we have to mass everything we know and put it to good use right here and right now.
Yeah, I think we've gone through those days of spiritual guiding and prompting me to talk about balance. So we've seen, and let's just use women for an example, speaking from a woman's perspective, and just, I guess, what I've seen out in the world. So say we have, there's different archetypes. There'll be, the goddess energy. There'll be, I don't want to be too brash or anything, but there'll be like the whore or the prostitute archetype. There'll be the mother energy or the mother archetype. And I guess what I've seen is some people would get fixed or get stuck in these different archetypes and find it hard to flow between each of these things. Now, if we're looking at the simulated reality being like a play, we need to be able to step in and out of all of these different archetypes. And especially at the moment, like what we've got today is stepping into this alchemization. Now, the alchemization is not just sometimes like lead into gold. It can be that beautiful alchemical potion making or that fusion between the different archetypes. But when we take all of these archetypes in to the here and now, we have that ability to be able to sort of step in and out of character or in and out of this flow state, rather than having to be stuck in a karmic loop with a particular archetype or a particular pattern. So when we see ourselves getting stuck in a particular archetype or pattern, we can look into the light aspect or we can look into the shadow aspect. So yeah, with that card that we just had, the darker side would be, how am I using my power in a spiritual manipulation way? So looking at, am I using influence or things for darker reasons? Do I have good intentions? And it's to be totally open and honest and to transcend that shadow aspect and to really step into the light.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of women, oddly you say that, they are trying to consolidate. And one of the tricky aspects
That's a
of
good
this
word.
transformation is they're trying to consolidate the energy or the archetype of Lilith into perhaps Venus or the priestess.
Yeah.
And they're having this like, wait, it doesn't match, but really it does, because they're
It
all
does.
parts of the bigger picture. Talk about that maybe for some of the people here who are just tuning in for themselves, that they have these. And you know what's funny too, because their husbands or their wives or their loved ones are probably saying like, who are you? You don't look like you anymore. Like this is not the person maybe they fell in love with 10 years ago or whatever. And now they're saying, hey, who are you? And so it's also important for the other partner to kind of recognize that and go with the flow of this transformation and take like the best of each of these archetypes into this. Right. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's the thing, is to take the good attributes, but it's to also go, right, this is the future I want to create for myself. This archetypal energy will help me to achieve this. So at the moment, we're really working through this inner alchemist archetypal energy. So for some of you, it might be lighting a candle, setting that clear intention, feeling that vision or that energy already unfolding and already happening. But for others of you, there may be, if we're talking about Lilith and talking about Venus, there might be like a bit of a sensual dance that's involved with anchoring and alchemizing this energy. So that's where we can sort of tap in and draw on that power. Now with I guess Lilith and some of the other characters throughout history, there has been like the darker side put on it. The same with like a lot of women. So even like if we talk about Medusa, she was just or people say she was even more beautiful than Aphrodite. So Aphrodite apparently turned her into a Pegasus. Something else happened and she got turned into the stone-turning snakehead goddess that we know. But her original energy, if we peel it back, was actually quite sweet and actually quite innocent. Yet there was that change to do with what happened to her. So if she can tap into what she was originally. So we have sometimes misperceptions about different characters throughout history. And, some of those stories may have come through a different lens or from like a masculine energy of, not perhaps wanting women to know just how powerful they are. Now, I
Mhm.
see and I know that that's changing, and I know that a lot of the beautiful divine masculine no longer look at women in that way or think of women in that way. They actually see them as beautiful, empowered goddesses with the divine femininity being a special power that they have. I used to think back in the old days of giving lectures or working in different things, it was pretty much like a masculine dominated world, especially the UFO side of things. And I would think, I remember just sort of pondering one day to spirit and thinking, some of the men are like so outright and so like, commanding, or they'll like just put their energy out there very aggressively. And I'm watching all the men do this, and I'm like, does that mean that I have to do this in order to be heard in a world where it's masculine dominated? And straight away, my download was no. It's actually the softness. It's actually that feminine way that reaches people on a different level. And that is where the power is for the divine feminine. It's not in having to be, noisy and like aggressive or anything like that, which we saw women sort of flip out into that balance of things, that wounded feminine. So, it's looking at the balance. And sometimes we do need to step more into that, that archetype, and other times we need to remember to come back to this state of softness.
Right, absolutely. Let me bring up this work. I forget who the author here is, but let me just bring their link down to. I think you and I have shared this file before,
Yeah,
SOLRETA, probably
beautiful.
on our previous shows, maybe even on the Kundalini shows. But she goes into some of these different archetypes and how they are remanifesting themselves here in our modern world, and it's quite a fascinating read. And I recommend maybe for the audience, men or women, to actually read this particular one here. It is about sacred sex, but about divine union. And again, the divine union is not necessarily between the two partners, but it's also the divine union of all the different archetypes into that one person. So it's a
Yeah.
fascinating read. Let me see while we're there if I can find.
And this is something that we can even go into, with the Kundalini shows and things too, because you can
Mhm.
be that soft, flowy Venus energy, yet have the seductive nature of Lilith.
Yeah.
You can step into that dance. So that
I
would be something fun to explore.
Absolutely. The author's name is Carrie, and I'm looking for her last name here. I see it here. And I think she's from your neck of the woods for some reason. Uh,
Oh,
I think she studied at Melbourne University. Anyways, you
yeah.
guys see that on the screen now. You have the link.
I'm going to
Please
have
do
to check
go,
that out.
yeah, and check it out. Yeah, that's fascinating. And what do you think? It's funny. f- For the women, I'm seeing a lot of these amalgamations of different archetypes,
Mm.
and from the men, in sadly enough, I'm seeing kind of a devolution of some of those archetypes, and they're being segregated into what the mainstream media, the movie industry, the music industry is trying to portray them on. There's still that
Mm.
huge, like, toxic masculinity kind of push towards them. And so, what can we do now, like, to talk to those guys here to kind of
Yeah.
maybe reattune themselves with who they truly are, as opposed to what mainstream media is trying to make them out to be? And this was part of what Cliff High was talking about too. There's a lot of
Yeah.
dangers out there with these archetypes, and what the system, or he calls it the bug. The bug is trying to transform us into something
That's
that
a
is
good way to
more
describe it.
right, right, right. So what can we say? What would you say to the guys here?
Well, even for like the feminine, the underlying word is trust
Mm,
for masculine and feminine. Like if we scrap back everything that's been told to us, programmed, or the masculine story and the emasculation that's been happening, we actually need to trust that it's safe and it's okay for us to be ourselves.
mhm,
So I remember having a discussion even around name changes and things with family years ago. And there's a level of acceptance with things that are considered to be mainstream. So, it's not about waiting for someone to okay something. This is actually about us meeting who we are on a soul level. And with the masculine, I've noticed, with some of my beautiful friends, that are quite soft, divine masculine. And then I've got some that are those beautiful Viking protector types too.
right.
It is about trust on a few different levels. But some men have thought that they've had to become soft. And then some women have thought that they have to become strong and aggressive. And yeah, it's almost like the inversion or the switching of the
Mhm.
two. So it really is to come back into your natural state, and to just trying to tap into that. There's an energy with it that Spirit's showing. There's, with the women, it's like a juicy flow that comes in when you tap into this divine feminine. It's very much tied in with Kundalini and orgasmic sex energy. So it was about tapping into this, is not having to do it overtly, but it's being conscious of running that field and not having to tone yourself down or having to, how would I say, be like a flower and kind of like fade. It's actually about, it's kind of embodying that Leo energy in a way and radiating and illuminating for transformation.
Right. Wow. Okay. Somebody was asking in the chat, they said, oh, forgive me, but what is woo? Because I was talking about woo. That's okay. Let me bring it up. Where did I put it? Here you go. So definition of woo-woo: unconventional beliefs regarded as having little or no scientific basis. Of course, this is the mainstream definition of woo-woo. So take it with a grain of salt, everyone. Especially those relating to spirituality, mysticism, or alternative medicine. Okay, sure. Metaphysics.
We're deep in woo-woo. We're from woo-woo land.
Exactly. I'm too woo for woo, some people say. Okay. Marianne, who's on the show, she says, I'm one woo, JC, but you're a double woo. So I'm like, okay. SOLRETA's also double or triple woo, I have to admit.
Oh, yeah. I think we're just born this way, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let me see. I have the author's name. I wanted to at least give her credit.
Harry also wrote about pheromones, estrogen, and testosterone. That's also really important because that is also part of the control.
Hold on a second. I have somebody at the door. Keep going. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Cool. Thanks, JC. So yeah, I just saw Harry, you wrote down pheromones, estrogen and testosterone. So this is also part of that controlled, I guess, hormonal direction of emasculation. So whether it's to feminize the masculine or whether to to make the feminine more masculine. So it's to try and peel back all of the different layers that have been placed upon us, whether it's hormonally, so making sure that we're not drinking out of plastics, that we're not heating food up in plastic, or being careful of like receipts that have synthetic estrogens on them, especially if we're using any sanitizer. Those synthetic estrogens go straight into the bloodstream from touching receipts. So it's all of the pentaphthalates, the BPAs, all of these things we need to be careful of because it's giving us too much synthetic estrogen. So on the masculine side of things,
that's why I drink from this, by the way.
Exactly. That or glass is always the best.
Yeah.
I was just saying, being careful about touching receipts because they're printed on plastic receipt paper. So we need to make sure that we're essentially eliminating any outside factors that could be corrupting who we are on a DNA level, who we are on a soul or spiritual level, peeling back the layers to get to that core self. So many different ways from doing this, whether it's meditation, being around like-minded, supportive people, plant medicine journeys. Like there's so many different things that you can do. Getting out in nature and just sort of getting to know yourself, trying to quieten that monkey mind also really helps.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay, sorry for the distraction. It's
that's okay.
It's a working household and there's always people here. So, and I have so many shows that inevitably somebody will knock at the door while I'm live, and it always happens when I'm live. That's the weirdest thing. All right. Do you have time to take a question or two, maybe from the audience?
Let's do that.
Yeah. Guys, if you have questions for SOLRETA, put them in high caps here in the live chat. I'm just going to check also.
I did see Vicky, who is a beautiful soul. She just lost her dad.
Oh, no. Sorry to hear that.
I'd love to pick a card for Vicky.
Sure. Let's start with that.
Towards the start, I saw that.
Okay.
Oops, cards are flying everywhere already. Let's tap in and see if there's anything.
Okay. Here it is. I got this one here. Okay, there you go. Vicky. Thank you, Vicky. Okay.
Okay, so the other thing that I'm feeling as soon as we start to connect with Vicky's energy is someone coming in and actually stroking her hair. So just noticing if you've had like any feeling from spirit of stroking the hair, and even to pay attention to that, especially over this coming weekend, is what I'm seeing. There's a bit of a shift in frequency or a shift in energy. Oh my gosh, it's Halloween this weekend. So that is where the veil is thin between our world and the spirit world. So no wonder why I'm like, this is weird. Why is spirit suggesting weekend? So I'm going to flip these cards over. We've got Mother of Cups, Son of Cups, and then we've got the Three of Cups. So what I'm feeling from this is that this is not the end between this dance between two souls. I feel like that there's been many different lifetimes that you've shared together with your father. In fact, I'm seeing this mother energy come more from you and a son energy come from him. So even though he may have been a father, you may have also been, educating him or caretaking for him in certain ways. So I'm getting like informing. So whether you gave him information or you were like informing him, but he sees you as it's a give and take relationship. It's not just one person has this role. I see that there's nurturing from both. With the Three of Cups, this is kind of like that celebration card. It's traditionally the women toasting the glasses. So celebration, initial achievement, all of this is a beautiful heartfelt energy because it's all cups card. So it's about the relationship that the two of you had together. So I see that as a beautiful energy. I'm just going to ask if there's any advice that he has to give. Ooh. Wow. Okay. So we have the Nine of Wands, the Queen of Wands, and we have Three of Swords. So it's almost as if he's coming in wanting to wipe the tears and to take away sorrow. Three of Swords through the love heart represents that grieving. It represents that sorrow, that heartache, that heartbreak. But yeah, he's trying to remind you of your power and to come back into full force. He's also talking about completing a mission here on Earth and that being of utmost importance at the moment. So I know that that will make sense to Vicky.
Wow, that's great. Wow, I love that. Hey, Jenny Alicia. Thank you, Jenny. She's an amazing
Hey,
moderator. So is, there's quite a few. So if I start naming them, I'll miss one. So all of you, I love you guys, all the moderators. You do a great job. But Jenny, yeah, she says she's had a few readings with you and she's so happy about those and says thank you to me for providing the opportunity. Speaking of opportunity, let's talk about setting boundaries. Now, SOLRETA just informed me before the show that there's a client there that's missed 3 appointments already with SOLRETA last minute. And of course, things happen. We understand life gets in the way sometimes. But guys, please be respectful of the time here because all those missed opportunities are readings that SOLRETA could have had with other people who are waiting in line now.
You're very desperate. Yeah.
Yes. So, oh my God. Okay.
I know, I'm having to get firm. I'm having to channel a different archetype and step into a little bit more of a, not a fiery energy, but I'm having to, my natural state is soft and it's flowy, and that's how I do the work that I do. So for me to step into admin mode and all of this, it's not my natural state. It's something I find quite awkward. But my web girl is beautiful. She's working on creating policies and different things too. So yeah, please just respect the time.
As best possible. Again, we understand
your own time zone too.
Right.
So
yeah. Again, as best possible. But this is 3 times the same person. I tend to say okay, whatever, 3 strikes you're out, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely of the same mindset.
Yeah. All right, guys. Now we know why the coupon code for SOLRETA's 2-hour booking session tonight is Alien, because she saw a few this week.
I forgot that I even saw them on the weekend, and I just said, "Spirit, what code do you want tonight?" They're like Alien, and it's my alien nephew came into.
They were telling you, "Hey, don't forget about us. We're here. We're here."
They're definitely there and wanting to connect. They're around quite strongly at the moment, especially with us coming into spring and summer. It's definitely better weather to go out and skywatch.
So what's coming up on your YouTube channel or your website? New
Yeah,
developments, new products and services.
so
What's the latest?
today I'm actually going out, and we're hopefully, if internet and everything is working out in the bush, interviewing one of my best friends, Saffron, and she is a herbalist, and she also specializes in I'm trying to think of what words I'm allowed to say, in protecting you against certain things that might be thrown off other people's bodies, particularly in the moment. Yeah, she's working on different formulas and things that help with shedding. So my kids and I are taking it. It's working amazing. So she's going to be talking a little bit about that, but I call her an alchemist. So it's actually funny. I didn't think of that. So I'm going to be talking to the alchemist today. And yeah, hopefully we're out down by the river, able to film. So that will be in a couple of hours' time. You'll probably see it come up on my YouTube. Yeah, we're hoping to live stream down there. If it's not working to live stream, it will be posted later.
Okay, so guys, if you want to check that out, that's going to be on SOLRETA's YouTube channel. The links are in the description box below. And I just noticed there, you did a part 2 with Russell. I haven't seen it yet. How was that?
Amazing. So good.
He's a cool guy.
Talks about meditation snacks. So he's giving you life hacks and quantum jumps into how to, looking at how do we facilitate change, or how do we what can we do to kind of embrace or to build better habits and different things.
What did you call it? Meditation snacks?
It's really cute. It's a term that he's coined called meditation snacks. So throughout the day, he'll take meditation snacks.
I remember in the last one, he was talking about the Pomodoro method. Anyways, you guys go watch episode 1 if you haven't seen it, and then watch.
He's one of my beautiful friends from Natural Medicine College. We studied together, and he's such a gorgeous, beautiful soul who is actually in Bali at the moment.
Yeah, and it's funny because he talks a lot with his hands, and as he's talking, you can see he's moving energy.
He's a Tai Chi. He's a Tai Chi teacher.
Oh, well, there you go. That explains it.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, folks, that's it for tonight, man. We're running out of time. I have another show here tonight. Please do join us here for where is it? Tamara. Tonight with Janine is the next show up on the board. So I'll have a little bit of time here to eat and then start for that show. And then tomorrow, wait, is this canceled? Yes, I think so. Indigo asked me to postpone this show, so we're not doing the Indigo Galactic Angel download tomorrow. But we are still doing the Janine 8 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night. So anyways, tonight, join us for Tamara and Janine. That's going to be an amazing show. In the meantime, please do remember to like, share, and subscribe here to SOLRETA on her YouTube channel. And also, book a session. You never know. There's a lot going on. And you might... And you know what? There might be some free spots here as of late with some last minute cancellations. So give it a try. And Solreta, so that coupon code is it's for the 2-hour session. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's for 2-hour and for the couples session as well. I love working with couples and reading the energy between people and looking at the strengths and looking at where we can bring, balance, and looking at like where someone can flow better here and someone can flow better here. And it's just, I feel really blessed to work with couples. It's just a beautiful part of my practice.
Awesome. All right. I love you, Solreta. Thank you so much for being on. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here tonight. And we'll see you soon. Au revoir.